Welcome to episode 47 of the MMG podcast. I am Chris, and I'm joined once again by my good friend, Go Cubs 711.
I'm suing Fortnite.
Okay, why?
So everyone's doing it.
Oh, I see. This is a bit I'm not in on. Is everyone actually suing Fortnite right now?
The guy who played Carlton on Fresh Prince, and also the kid who came up with the floss dance, are both suing Fortnite for including their dance in their games without permission.
That's awesome.
Now we just need Donald Faison to do it.
We'll have a trifecta of sue.
Yeah, we'll have that trifecta and take down the Fortnite.
Oh my goodness gracious! It'll take some of the. I guess it'll take some of the juice out of it. I mean, honestly though, I feel like at this point people could take out the dances and people would still be interested in playing it. But still, that's part of like that what people like about the game. And if they get rid of that might cause an uproar. But if they're sued, they can't do much about it.
Yeah.
Welcome everyone. By the way, remember when the NFL had they did like the whole Fortnite partnership that lasted like a week?
Yeah.
I don't think like they had all these
uniforms. You're like released in the game.
Something
or they just announced and everyone forgot about it.
Yeah, something happened too where you could just add that like someone had like Michael Vick's jersey and they had like a dog backpack and it was like
right.
There's some fucked up shit that happened and I think that's kind of why they ended
bad.
it. But yeah, that's that's Fortnite for you. Anyways, welcome everyone. It is week 16. Whew. When we reached the point where we reached the point where we have the amount of weeks as we do amount of games in the season, but of course there is still one more week because of those elusive buys.
5 weeks exist.
Those buys. But yeah, week 16. It's surreal. It's kind of, but I think I'm the most excited I've been at this point in the season that I have in the past. Because in the past I've been like, I'm ready for the season to end. You know, I enjoy it, but you know, it's okay. Now I'm like, oh my god, I'm ready for every which turn comes our way. Give me Redskins Titans, fuel me in it, inject me with it. Like it's just I'm ready. I love it. So it's gonna be super exciting. Going into this week, but first, of course, we're gonna recap week 15 for you. A lot of fun games, and we're gonna start with the game of the week. A lot of good options for this one again this week, but I went with the one that took place on Thursday night, and it was the Chargers at Chiefs, a battle between the two best teams in the AFC. And despite the Chiefs coming in and they had a lead for most of the game, the Chargers came back in a scoring drive that ended a 2-point conversion. And despite all the penalties that went against the Chargers, a crucial penalty against the Chiefs was kind of what invited the Chargers to get the score that got them the win. Any thoughts on this?
Not really. It was a super fun game to watch. Yeah. And I'm very happy with the end result.
Yeah. This was the one game we disagreed on.
If this is the AFC Championship, won't complain.
No, I would love this as the AFC Championship game. Yeah, and this was the only game we disagreed on, and I unfortunately was on the opposing side, the losing side of this.
Yes.
But I'm okay with it though, because I think the fact that the Chargers were able to overcome their demons after losing to the Chiefs every year since 2013, not getting a win at all against them, and finally doing so in Arrowhead, it's a good feeling, and they've clinched a playoff berth for the first time since 2013. Now, as for there was another aspect of the game. I brought it up for a second, and then we'll move on. The refs were a huge talking point about this game, and
this wasn't the only game that the refs were a talking point about this weekend either.
Yeah, the refs were a big talking point throughout the weekend because I think everyone's on the page of well, the games are great, but the shitty reffing has kind of is hurting it, and in a way, I completely understand and I agree with. I feel bad that they keep on having these issues because I just don't know what the fix is, and there is one particular writer, and I'm sure many people in NFL circles know him. His name is Peter King, who after like the fifth or so like automatic first down penalty that the Chargers got that the Chiefs were rewarded with, he literally went on like a 3 or 4 tweet rant of sorts, or just rambling, where he was just kind of like absolutely sick and tired of seeing these penalties happen. And he was just like, please stop it. It's ruining the game. It's ruining the game. And I'm like, everyone and their mothers are going to have problems with refs until we decide to throw the rule book out the window, get rid of refs, or the game of football is no more. Like, we're going to be complaining about refs forever. Like, every time there's like supposedly going to be a fix for the issue, there's more issues that pop up. I'm just kind of over it. I'm over pointing out the refs and complaining about them, and I was doing so earlier in the year, but I'm kind of, I mean, unless it's like really egregious where it's like the only thing that we can talk about, I'm sick. I just want to enjoy the games, and we have to just accept at this point that the refs are going to be the third team that's going to try to alter our fun, and we're going to have fun, and we'll just try to ignore them as best as we can, and just the game at this point, the NFL has had such a solid season. It's fair to go after them for the reffing issues, but let's calm down that it's not like it's going to be the main thing that's going to ruin these games right now. I think it's been fun, and I've enjoyed it. And I think that it will improve. They'll look to improve it in the off season, and they'll probably fail, and we'll keep on going through this cycle. But let's just accept that the officiating is bad, and we'll move forward. From there, we'll briefly talk about our blowout of the week. There is a part of me that roots for the good games to be blowouts because we would have something better to talking about. But this week it was Cardinals at Falcons. Falcons blew the roof off of the Cardinals, and I guess we could start here. Steve Wilkes, who is in his first year of the job, may be in his only year of the job. Because the rumor is that he could be fired, which would follow in the footsteps of their fellow NFC West rival, the 49ers, who did that 2 years in a row. Hired Jim Tomsula, fired him for Chip Kelly, and then the year after that fired Chip Kelly for Kyle Shanahan, which was just a depressing cycle for the 49ers fans. But, I mean, if you failed hiring your head coach, and you feel like after 1 year you have to get rid of him, they better clean house. They have to get rid of their general manager. I know Steve Keim has had a successful run for the most part with the Cardinals. He drafted some good players with them, but these things have to come to an end when the talent is just not there. The talent was not there this year. Clean house, get rid of everyone, and build a team around Josh Rosen, who is a quarterback that has the talent to do well, but just everyone else around him is struggling. And he needs a good system to work under. And right now with Steve Wilkes, it's just
not a great system.
Not happening. Say again?
Not a great system.
It's not a great system. And I hate the idea that these coaches come in and they're like, okay, we're gonna follow my system. I'm not gonna tailor my system to you guys. You have to tailor your skill sets to me. And it's like it's not good coaching. It's bottom line. It's like, to me, that's like what Hugh Jackson did, and what I'm sure many coaches have done. Mike McCarthy, again, another coach that was fired mid-season. Like he after a while was just trying to do things his way, and Aaron Rodgers wanted to do it his way. Now people would argue, well, Aaron Rodgers is just stubborn, but maybe he has a point. Maybe there's something there.
More important to the team than Mike McCarthy is.
Well, right, exactly. Like, maybe you should listen to Aaron Rodgers, because if he knows the plays that he can make, then maybe just build the offense around what he has in mind, or get a coach that would at least take his advice under consideration. So, and that's not just him; that's everyone on the Green Bay Packers as well. So, that's what good coaches do. Steve Wilkes has not shown that. I don't love the idea that he's being fired 1 year, but if he's really that bad in your eyes, then get rid of everyone.
Yeah.
And Falcons, you got eliminated from the playoffs. What can we do? Unfortunately, it's a very disappointing season for the Falcons, who had
100%.
Super Bowl expectations.
At the start of the season, I kept saying that the Falcons are better than their record. I don't believe that anymore. I think the Falcons are just trash this year.
Yeah.
A lot of potential, but just weren't able to reach it for one reason or another.
Big thing was injuries, I think.
Yeah.
And that hampered a lot of teams this year. It wasn't as bad as last year, at least some of the bigger names with injuries.
Yeah.
But I think it really put a damper on the season. But you do have to question with how much talent the Falcons had on offense. Why couldn't they produce more? It is a little bit bizarre. I think that Sarkisian, the offensive coordinator, is probably going to be a scapegoat in this scenario for that one. As for Team Chaos of the Week, there were a few of these, and I decided on the team that is going for trying to get to the number 1 seed in the NFC, and got halted by none other than Nick Foles and the Eagles, because you and I because we filmed the podcast, and it came out a few days later that Nick Foles would be starting for the Eagles, which neither of us really expected. I think both of us would have still went with the Rams in that instance. In fact, probably even doubled down. But the Eagles, once again, with Nick Foles, can put on their dog masks, because they owned this. They tied the Rams for the first half, but then they came out swinging in the third quarter, and they went up 30-17, and the Rams 30-13, I think it was, and the Rams almost mounted a comeback, and it came down to one last play to try to get into the end zone, and it just did not happen. Despite the broken secondary that is the Eagles, they still pulled out the win, and Nick Foles, once again, the hero in an underdog story.
Yeah.
There you go.
Tell you what, Nick Foles, quarterback of the future. Carson won too.
Yeah, it's true. Like, I think people were like, if the miracle happens and like Nick Foles somehow leads this team to the Super Bowl again and wins it, is there a quarterback controversy? And I gotta be honest, maybe, because I think that's really gonna be a miracle at that point for them to do that. If the
Eagles make the Super Bowl this year, holy shit, do we have like an inhuman entity in the league, and his name is Nick Foles.
He's inhuman. That's true. I'm like that would be insane. I do think that, and I don't know what the reason is, but for some reason Nick Foles he's shown in the last year that he's been running the offense better than Carson Wentz. I'm not talking the regular season last year. I'm talking the postseason, and then at least in this stretch that he's had where when he started the year and then this game, for some reason this offense is just clicking a lot more, even without the talent. There's something weird about it. Maybe it's Doug Peterson. I mean, I think that's really where it comes down to. Doug Peterson in these crucial situations is winning, but why can't you do that with Carson Wentz? I don't know. It's weird. Yeah. Are we worried about the Rams? Are you worried about the Rams?
A little bit, honestly.
Why would you say that?
Well, look at Jared Goff. At least his past 2 games, he has not played at the level that he needs to play to be Jared Goff. Like, I'm pretty sure he hasn't thrown a touchdown in the past 2 games.
I don't believe so.
Yeah. Did he throw one in the Eagles game?
Maybe in the Eagles game, yeah.
Yeah, but he didn't in the Bears game. But with that, and like still like not performing up to the quality that he's been all season. And
Mm-hmm.
we'll get into something later because the Pro Bowl was just announced.
Yeah.
So we can do a segment on that, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, but like people still think he's a good quarterback. Spoilers for later.
Yeah, and
Um,
go ahead.
but just against the Rams, no, against the Bears, who will be a factor for them in the postseason,
Mm-hmm.
and against the Eagles, who could be a factor against them in the postseason, with other teams who
Saints.
definitely will be a factor for them in the postseason, with the Seahawks and the Saints, who
Mm-hmm.
beat them, and the I don't want to count the Cowboys right now, but the Seahawks, like they need to step up against good teams. And the
Yeah.
Eagles aren't really that good of a team.
Right. Well, I mean I would include the Cowboys just considering what they did to the Saints, but I. I am worried about Jared Goff, and it's not even just the last two games. It was the last three games. It was against the Lions in Detroit, and you would think, okay, maybe it's just the two road games that were his issue, maybe, and it was just going up against the Bears defense that was tough, but it, I think you said it. Tom Fornelli said it, and obviously both of you guys are Bears fans.
Yeah.
But you guys said the Bears broke Jared Goff, and to be honest, it looked like it because there's a one point where a play where Jared Goff fumbles a snap and tries to pick it up, and he looks to throw it. Instead, he kind of like drops it to the ground, and the Eagles pick it up, and it's just an easy recovery. But it was just a weird sequence where he was still gonna try, and like that's not even like a physical thing, that's a mental thing. Why would you at that point try to make a play when you know the offensive line is not going to be able to protect you in time to pick up the ball and throw it? How in the world were you going to get that play off without a turnover happening? So there's something I think mentally within him that's not that has at least got to him in this game. In the other games, I think he just was up against, or I mean, I don't know about the Lions, but the Bears, I felt like he was a very much just a tough matchup for them. Um, I think that I still have faith in Sean McVay, and the fact that the comeback was kind of reassuring in the way that he started playing in the post that fumble awful play. That I'm not going to count the Rams out, but yeah, I think there is some cause for concern for sure. Going forward. What about your most surprising team in the league in this week?
In this week, my most surprising team was the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
The Brown simply just because most of the teams that were actually surprising to me, like we talked about a lot already. But the Browns, they went up against an opponent who was about even to them, ended up with a score that was about even. But it's week 16 and they're not eliminated from playoff contention, Chris. They haven't been mathematically eliminated. The season has 2 games left.
Yeah. They are essentially eliminated. It's gonna take a Colts Titans tie for them to make it in, which is virtually impossible. But I love it. I love the fact that they're relevant. That they're relevant still going down the stretch, and I think that regardless of the next 2 games, they have the Bengals and the Ravens. Regardless of the next 2 games, I just think that as long as they find the right head coach when this is all said and done,
they're gonna have a good foundation for next year.
They're in good shape, and there's some people who felt like that I mean, if they didn't have the impossible tiebreaker, that they could have ended up in January with how well they were playing. It's just they're playing very well. And I love seeing that. Greg Williams had like an awful play call in this game, or where he called a timeout right as the Broncos went offsides, and it was ridiculous. But I'm hoping that they don't hire him as head coach, and we can just move forward. from there. Um, but I think, yeah, I'm just like the Browns to me, they embody the chaos of this season that has been, because I feel like last year we kind of talked about how this year was so chaotic and stuff, but this year especially, I feel like that a lot of the teams we expected to contend are kind of struggling, and the teams that we weren't as on board with are doing pretty amazing things.
Yeah.
And the Browns, the fact that they have six wins at this point, they are now clinched to not have double digit losses for the first time since 2014. I texted that to you. I said 2013. I misread that. It was 2014.
Yeah.
Was the last time that they went. They had 7-9 as their record. So it'll be good, and maybe they'll have a winning record for the first time since like fucking early 2000s. It's like insane how long it's been since they've had a winning record. So
Right.
really fun stuff. My most surprising team was another AFC North team, and it was the Pittsburgh Steelers. My goodness, you finally overcame the Tom Brady, Bill Belichick demons in Pittsburgh. You finally won the game that everyone has counted you out of for these past 3 years, and it was just such a nice victory to have. And even though it felt like it was so close near the end, it could have really gone the Patriots' way. The Patriots had many opportunities to capitalize on the Steelers' mistakes, but like the pick, there was a pick by Joe Hayden that was excellent, former Brown, that was absolutely excellent in this game, that really, I think, capped it all off. It wasn't the final play in the game, far from it, but it just kind of was the embodiment of what was the Steelers finally, kind of after like a 3-game losing streak, kind of just realizing the stakes of the situation and absolutely dominating it. That, like, they're just taking those demons down in close fashion. But I just think it's so important if they're going to make the playoffs that they did this, and I'm happy for them on that front.
Yeah.
I know the Steelers. Neither of us are really big fans of the Steelers generally, but if they could be another factor in the AFC and make things a little interesting, I wouldn't hate it at this point. But it's certainly an interesting aspect of it. What about your most disappointing?
Okay, I want to preface this with saying I'm not disappointed. I'm actually like a little bit giddy, but in the sense of football, the Dallas Cowboys.
Yes.
The boys came back to town, and then I don't know, they just like stayed inside and watched TV because they didn't score any goddamn points. Chris, remember the past couple of weeks when I've been talking about this thing called the Amari Cooper effect?
Okay, well, I'm gonna fight you on this, but go ahead.
No, I know you are. But like, yeah, the team's been doing well for a few weeks, and then they just lay a goose egg out on the field. Yeah. It was kind of weird. I don't know how they did that. But it's all over hunger. Okay, I'm getting off track. Yeah, but like, this is a team that is still probably winning the division and can do so with just one more win. But it was. I know they had a lot of bad luck in the game too, but it was surprising that they didn't do anything against this Colts team.
The problem is with this theory is that they did do something against the Colts, and what ended up happening was that in three different drives, they made it all the way to the end zone, and there was a blocked field goal. Then they had a dropped touchdown, and there was something else that happened that I cannot even think of at the moment. But something happened where they made it down there, and something just did not go their way.
Wasn't there like a blocked field goal or some shit?
Well, I guess the blocked field goal was the first thing, but there was something else. But regardless, this team could have been leading against the Colts at the end of the half. The Colts I feel like the reason I did not put the Cowboys down as my disappointing team was, well first of all, because I feel like the well, I'll get to that. Just the Colts, in my view, are starting to peak at this point. That they kind of came off of that Jaguars loss. They played really well on defense, and they've been improving on defense this entire time. But the offense didn't show up against the Jaguars. The Jaguars, that was like their only great defensive performance all year round. Um, the following week when they beat the Texans, it was kind of that moment of the Colts kind of being reawakened, and this game was just an embodiment of that. Just a really good Colts team taking care of business. Now, am I worried about the Cowboys? Sure. I mean, I think that you would like to see the defense try to stop the Colts, the way that they've been marketed as. But I would not be too worried about the Cowboys. I think they just went into a bad situation. They ran into a buzzsaw, in my view. And that is the situation. So in terms of the Amari Cooper effect, I don't think he had anything to do with this loss. I think it was all.
It wasn't the player of Amari Cooper. It's the institution of Amari Cooper.
It's the institution. All right, fair enough.
If you titled your podcast episodes with just like random stuff from the episode, I think the institution of Amari Cooper would be fitting.
Yeah. I should do that more often, actually.
Just take a random quote, usually from my intros, about what the episode's going to be about.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I get it, but I am. They have the Bucks next. They have the Giants next. I would be extremely worried if they lose to the Bucks or lose to the Giants. Like that. That would be when I would be like, what the fuck's happening? But I just think I think that I got off the Colts train a little bit when they did lose to the Jaguars because it was just such a surprising loss. But I think you have one of those games where the good team loses to a bad team and everyone's like, what the fuck? And then they get it right the next week. The Colts got it right the next week and are now really doing. The Colts have the Giants and the Titans to finish it up. They are looking really good to potentially make a wild card berth here. So
yeah, I think Colts and Ravens are the two most likely teams.
Yeah, so
get that sixth spot.
Yeah, and I do think that the Cowboys just be on the lookout, America's team, quote unquote America's team. Just watch out. Maybe the Bucks will stop you. You never know. Next up, Seattle Seahawks. That's my most disappointing team. And for me, I don't know if I this was a tough one to put here because I also was not really that disappointed with the Seahawks. Surprisingly, they had a lot of mistakes in this game, and a lot of things just were not going their way. There were some weird penalties called in this game that people complained about. But I do think it was the play that for them that was the sloppy part of it. And I think that it goes to the point of playing the same team 2 times in 3 weeks that it's kind of difficult to beat that kind of team twice. Because I think of it too from the perspective of like from college football, for example. This is a weird ass example, but the last year Boise State faced Fresno State in the final week of the season, and Fresno State won that game, and the two were matched up in the Mountain West Championship, and Fresno State ended up losing that game, and Boise State won. This year you had UAB versus Middle Tennessee in the final week. Middle Tennessee won that game. The next week in the CUSA Championship, UAB won against Middle Tennessee. I know that those are weird examples, but I do think that there is something to be said about playing a team that's just so close to each other that it's a disadvantage to the team that actually ended up winning it, because I think that there was more things that the losing team can look at to try to fix, where the
Yeah.
good team might just try to stick to that formula, and it ends up that oh wait, shit, they broke that formula. Oh god.
Oh God.
Yeah, right.
Everyone panic.
So I'm not going to shit on the Seahawks too much. I do think that they need to adjust though, and and especially against the Chiefs this upcoming week. It's a
Yeah.
big week for them.
They still like they had the Chiefs and then they have the
Cardinals.
Cardinals to close it out, and they just need one win to get in the playoffs.
Yeah,
Probably going to come with the Cardinals.
it should. I mean,
Good.
Yeah.
So we can somewhat guarantee the Seahawks right now. We'll check the playoff scenarios soon to see if they can see if anything else will help them.
Yeah, I look at the Seahawks as I do think that they could make a stir in the playoffs. I think that they're a better team right now. As much as I've been touting the Cowboys, I would say that they're a better team than the Cowboys.
Seahawks are definitely better than the Cowboys. I 100% agree with that.
Yeah, and I think that I think that's a very likely matchup that will happen in the playoffs, and I think the Seahawks could wreak havoc on that front. But we'll see how that all ends up falling into place. Let's do playoff scenarios now that you bring it up. You got your playoff scenarios up on hand.
I do.
Go ahead and read it off.
So, the Kansas City Chiefs, we'll start with the AFC. They have already clinched a playoff berth. They will clinch the AFC West title and a first-round bye if they win and the Chargers lose.
Right. Which
they need to win and the Chargers lose.
I think that's a very possible. I think the Ravens are a tough team to play. Chargers could lose. Chargers are weird because they don't play as well at home as they do on the road, even though it's all road to them. But I could see that happening. For this week.
They can also clinch the number 1 seed if they win, the Chargers lose, and the Texans lose, or if Chiefs win, Chargers lose, and Chiefs clinch the strength of victory tiebreaker over the Texans, which is a very mathematical thing that we won't go into right
now. Fair enough. Texans
if they win and the Chargers and Texans lose, then they will clinch the number 1 seed.
Okay, and Texans have Eagles. Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yes. All right. So here's the next one. The Texans will clinch the AFC South title if they win, or if the Colts and Titans both lose.
I would say it's more likely that the Texans win.
Yes.
Than the Colts or Titans losing.
But those are just the scenarios. That are not ties that are possible.
Yes. Yeah.
The Texans can also clinch a first round bye in the AFC playoffs.
Ooh.
If they win and the Patriots lose.
Yeah, no way. They're facing the Bills at home. Forget it.
Patriots last 2 games, Bills and Jets.
At home.
At home.
That's a very key factor considering how different the teams are.
Patriots are getting a first round bye.
Yeah.
Texans will also clinch a playoff berth if the Ravens, Steelers, or Titans lose.
Okay. Yeah. Well, could happen.
Ravens or Steelers.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Texans are probably going to be in the playoffs.
Yeah, I know. Well, actually, it was funny because when I was running playoffs, I was running the potential matchups and playoff scenarios. I could not get rid of the Texans out of the playoff picture. No matter what I did, it was weird. Like I had them losing all and everything going against them, and like it was just so strange that the Texans could not leave it. I wasn't doing ties though, so maybe it has something to do with maybe like a tie that needs to happen. But I think the Texans are in.
Okay, cool. All right, New England Patriots. They will clinch the AFC East title if they win or the Dolphins.
Yeah, I would say that's going to happen. Yeah. I don't know about the Dolphins losing, but they'll probably win.
Yeah. So that also includes playoff berth, obviously.
Yes.
Pittsburgh Steelers. They will clinch the AFC North if they win and the Ravens lose.
Very likely. Well, no.
Not super likely.
Not super likely, but it's possible. It's possible. It's possible.
Yeah. I wouldn't use likely though.
Yeah.
Steelers can also clinch a playoff berth if they win and the Colts and Titans both lose.
Okay.
All right, that's it for the AFC, and that leaves right now Kansas City, Houston, New England, and Pittsburgh are all leading their respective divisions, with I believe the Chargers at number 5, and um, the Ravens right now at number 6.
Okay.
Yes, Ravens at 6. Okay.
Yeah, the Ravens
all right,
are
here's NFC. Only 2 things can happen in the NFC. The New Orleans Saints can clinch the number 1 seed and home field advantage if they win, or if the Rams and Bears both lose.
Okay.
So Saints will clinch number 1 if they win.
Okay.
Dallas Cowboys. They will clinch the NFC title if they win, or the Redskins and Eagles both lose.
Yeah, I think for both of those, for the Rams and the Cowboys, I would say they'll
Saints.
probably. I'm sorry, the Saints. Oh,
Yeah.
The Saints. All right, the Saints might be. I think it will be tough for them, but
Yeah.
I think the Rams most likely will get the win this week. We'll see about the Saints.
Yeah. Okay, and then the NFC playoff picture then, Saints, Rams, Bears, and Cowboys leading their divisions, with the Seahawks and Vikings in the wild card spot. Teams still alive. In the AFC, we have the Indianapolis Colts and Tennessee Titans both at 8-6. The Miami Dolphins at 7-7, and the Cleveland Browns at 6-7-1. On the NFC side, we have the Philadelphia Eagles and the Washington Redskins both at 7-7, with the Carolina Panthers at 6-8.
Did you say that? Did you mention the Cowboys in terms of clenching the NFC East?
Yes, if they win,
Okay.
or the Redskins and Eagles lose, I did mention.
Yeah. Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Yeah, that's I would say it's a very strong possibility that I think the Rams should win this week. The Cowboys should win this week. I think that we get a lot of the playoff picture in the NFC completed by this weekend. Although the Seahawks are not a playoff scenario at this point.
The Seahawks, I didn't see one for them.
It might be because their loss might make them have to enter week 17 in flux. Potentially, because I think that with the Redskins winning and the Seahawks or the Eagles winning rather, kind of makes things a little bit tight. And the Vikings winning, of course. All right, so with that being said, so real quick before we get to our picks, I did do some math over the weekend, and I decided to look at all the potential matchups for the NFC and AFC.
Let's hear 'em.
So, well, first let me list the what's most likely to happen. If everything normal happens, of course we know normal's not a thing with this league, but if normal happens, we're gonna have in the NFC, Vikings at Bears, 6 seed versus 3 seed, and Seahawks at Cowboys, 5 seed, 4 seed, and then
sounds good.
And the AFC. The most likely scenario, which kind of surprised me, but looking at the schedules, it wasn't as much. The Colts would be in the playoffs at the 6 seed with the Patriots at the 3 seed. Then the Chargers at the 5 seed with the Steelers at the 4 seed at this point.
I mean, if the Texans win out, they get a first round bye.
Exactly. Yeah, the Texans are in complete control of their by destiny, which is quite surreal. Now we have the in terms of the list of the potential matchups for 5-4 in the NFC. Seahawks at Cowboys, Vikings at Cowboys, Eagles at Cowboys, Redskins at Cowboys, Seahawks at Bears, Vikings at Bears, Eagles at Bears, Redskins at Bears, Seahawks at Eagles, Vikings at Eagles, Seahawks at Redskins, Vikings at Redskins. There you go. My God, I do have a lot to read, but I'm gonna try to go through it quick. AFC.
No. I won't stop you.
Yeah, AFC 5-4. Chargers at Steelers, Chiefs at Steelers, Chargers at Ravens, Chiefs at Ravens, Chargers at Patriots, Chiefs at Patriots, Chargers at Texans, Chiefs at Texans, Chargers at Colts, Chiefs at Colts, Chargers at Titans, Chiefs at Titans, Chargers at Dolphins, Chiefs at Dolphins. So if you could tell what's happening there, the only way the AFC 5 seed can only be either the Chargers or the Chiefs at this point.
Yes.
No one else could be that.
They're in the same division.
Yes. Next up, the 6-3. Vikings at Bears, Seahawks at Bears, Eagles at Bears, Redskins at Bears, Panthers at Bears, Cowboys at Bears. There's still hope for the Panthers. Seahawks at Rams, Vikings at Rams, Eagles at Rams, Redskins at Rams, Panthers at Rams, Cowboys at Rams, Seahawks at Cowboys, Vikings at Cowboys, Redskins at Cowboys, Seahawks at Saints, Vikings at Saints, Eagles at Saints, Redskins at Saints, Panthers at Saints, Cowboys at Saints. And finally, the longest of them all, the AFC 6 at 3 seed. Colts at Patriots, Colts at Chiefs, Colts at Dolphins, Colts at Ravens, Colts at Steelers, Colts at Texans, Ravens at Chiefs, Ravens at Patriots, Ravens at Steelers, Ravens at Texans, Titans at Chiefs, Titans at Dolphins, Titans at Patriots, Titans at Ravens, Titans at Steelers, Titans at Texans, Steelers at Chiefs, Steelers at Patriots, Steelers at Ravens, Steelers at Texans, Dolphins at Chiefs, Dolphins at Patriots, Dolphins at Ravens, Dolphins at Steelers, Dolphins at Texans, Texans at Colts, Texans at Dolphins, Texans at Patriots, Texans at Ravens, Texans at Steelers, Texans at Titans, Patriots at Dolphins, Patriots at Ravens, Patriots at Steelers, Patriots at Texans.
Can you say that Texans one again?
The Texans wins. Texans at Colts, Texans at Dolphins, Texans at Patriots. No, okay.
Yeah, so playoffs are going to be, they're pretty much set, I think.
Yeah, it's close. It's close.
Theoretically set.
Yeah.
And I'm very much okay with the teams that are there. Like, if you look at the AFC, like, most of the teams, like, the four division winners, we've seen that before. Steelers, Texans, Chiefs, Patriots. But they feel like so different teams.
Right.
Than before. And then you get the Chargers, who are the second best team in the AFC right now. Debatably the first.
Yeah.
And then like add either the Ravens or Colts in there, both of whom have been like a little lackluster the past couple of years. I think that's a good for the AFC. With the NFC, obviously Rams and Saints are still there. Cowboys make the comeback. Bears make the worst to first comeback, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Texans
do too. Texans
missed last year. Vikings still come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that the only teams that I would be at all worried about making the playoffs at this point are ones that are currently outside the playoff picture, and specifically, the Dolphins would need a miracle. But like the Titans,
Browns need a bigger miracle.
The Browns need a bigger miracle. Titans, I'm like, I already said before that I'm not gonna hate the Titans for being in there. There was a point during the Titans Giants game, which is weird that against the Giants that they would become likable to me. But at the very end of the game, once they stopped the Giants from scoring one last time, and that was a shutout. The Titans did the Remember the Titans dance all the way down the sidelines. Oh, it was absolutely excellent. I'm like, you know what? They're at least kind of likable. But
they be consistent though. That's the
thing, and Marcus Mariota also threw for only 88 yards in that game. So like I can't really get on board with them. I'm worried about. I think that they're the ones I'm most worried about making the playoffs in this current iteration. The Redskins, boy oh boy, they have a chance, and I'm worried. I'm worried. I do not want them in with Josh Johnson at fucking quarterback. Please. Yeah. The gods just and guess what? The two of them get to play each other on Saturday, so maybe there'll be hope. I think the loser of that game does not make the playoffs, so that so one of those bad teams has to go home, and I'm hoping it's the Redskins over the Titans. I know. We'll get there. We'll see how it goes. Colts at Titans, by the way, is the Week 17 matchup that I think is most likely to be flexed into Sunday night at this point. Could be what decides the wild card at this point for the AFC. So I think that'll be the first elimination playoff game that we've seen in a while on Sunday Night Football in Week 17. That would be pretty neat.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. All right. With all that being said, let's look at the picks. You went 10-6 last week. I went 9-7. Obviously, like we said earlier, the Chargers proved me wrong, and I was happy about that, but does not do much for me on the standings wise. We're just completely knotted up. 131-90 is our record. Both of us have 2 points, and we are sitting at 43-43. It sucked, but I was like, you know what, I kind of deserved it, because I got my guarantee when the Browns won, the Team Chaos when the Browns won, And then I was like, yeah, good, awesome. So maybe I'll at least be like a point ahead. And then deservingly slow when I lock up the Jaguars, they lose to the Redskins. So like, I mean, I got what I asked for on that one.
Who did I lock?
You
I
guaranteed.
I guaranteed the Bears. That's right.
Yeah, you guaranteed the Bears, right? And
Bear,
that was
bear the fuck down.
yeah, that was clutch. I was like that was like one of the circumstances where even though the Packers had like the much worse record, that I was gonna let you have that one because of the fact that it was Aaron Rodgers and I felt like he could have still beaten the Bears.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that he did not come back in that one, and the Bears won. We'll talk more about the Bears in just a little bit, but let's get to our picks, and we start off with that Titans game against the Redskins. I'm strangely excited about this game because I know that I'm okay with whoever. Well, no, I prefer the Titans in this game.
No.
I prefer the Titans in this
Yeah.
game, but I mean, it's like I would like to see both of these teams shipped out into the middle of nowhere to come back for 2019. But we'll see, or maybe for the Redskins to stay out there forever. Maybe. Anyways, who do you have in this game winning?
I would like to think that 2 games in a row of the Titans playing unbelievably good football through the hands of Derrick Henry is going to mean that they've learned something.
Yeah.
I don't know that for sure, but they're on the Washington's on their 4th quarterback. So I have to go with Tennessee.
Yeah. I gotta go Tennessee too. I think first of all, kudos to Derrick Henry, who many people were like, well, he's a bust for the Titans, and now he's had consecutive games of, I believe, 200 rushing yards. It's absolutely insane. He's having just these phenomenal games back to back, and I think he'll continue in this game. I'm going Titans.
Stuff like that is just like, where has this been?
Right. I think that they're realizing it. Maybe.
What have you been doing?
I think that what they're going to need to start doing if they want to get a chance at the playoffs and make things interesting, they need to channel what the Ravens have done and kind of make it like a run-first team, run-centric team for on the offensive side, and then on the and just have their because their Titans defense has been excellent this year, and if they could continue that going into the playoffs, and they could have a shot of upsetting someone again. I mean, let's not forget when the Titans made it last year, they did upset someone. So like, it's not. It may not
through a touchdown pass to himself.
Yes. So I'm done. Like, I don't want the Titans in compared to some of the other teams that are in it. But I don't think it would be the worst thing in the world because some magic could happen. You never know. Next up on the Saturday slate. The Ravens at Chargers. What a big game this is.
This is a huge game, Chris.
It's a big game. It's got the two teams that are competing for playoff positioning in the AFC. Of course, one has already made the playoffs. Chargers are currently trying to see if they can make it to the 1st seed. If not, they'll settle on the 5th seed. That's the only 2 places that they can potentially be. Maybe the 2 seed. We'll see.
That's wild.
Yeah. And then as for the Ravens, they need this win because if they do so, and the Steelers lose to the Saints on Sunday, which is likely, or at least is very very possible, I would say that could do it for the Ravens to win the AFC North. Like, that's how close it is. They win this game, they could win the AFC North. They lose this game, they're out of the playoffs potentially.
Yeah,
that's the closeness of this whole situation for the Baltimore Ravens. John Harbaugh, who has been on and off the hot seat, if he loses this game, does he go back on the hot seat? I don't think he should, but people have said that maybe if they don't make the playoffs, that he goes. So big fucking game for the Ravens, and a big game for the Chargers if they want to try to see if they can clutch a home field advantage. Although, do you really want to, Chargers? I mean, it's.
Do you really need to?
Do you really need to? I mean,
I think the Chargers would it would benefit, the bye would benefit the Chargers, not the home field advantage.
Right. Yeah, I know. I agree. I think that's why you compete for it, but we'll see. Next up, the Giants, who after showing maybe some life down the stretch, kind of has just completely laid an egg, similar to their NFC East counterpart uh, in the Cowboys against the Titans, and now have to face the team that shut out the Dallas Cowboys, and that was the Indianapolis Colts. And I don't see a situation where this goes well for the Giants.
I don't see any situation where the Giants win unless they do what they did to the Bears. But that was Chase Daniel, who is good, but Mitch Trubisky. Yeah, the Colts are going to take this.
Yeah. By the way, did we pick the Chargers-Ravens game? I just realized.
I don't think we did.
Oh shit, we talked about it. We never picked it.
I'm going to take the Chargers. Ravens were tempting for a chaos, but
yeah, I went with Chargers as well. Sorry about that, guys. I just was like, I got so excited about the game, I got lost in it.
Yeah,
I just forgot to pick it. Yeah, no, and the Colts are gonna win against the Giants. And boy, you saw it on my feed. There are some people who are adamant that Eli Manning is the right choice. Not even that it's probably gonna happen, but that he's the right choice to lead this team in 2019. Oh boy. New York media's drinking something, and I wish I had a part of it because I wish I could see some good Eli action because all I've seen is bad. Anyways,
he makes that funny face whenever he gets sacked.
That's why you keep him around, is for the funny face.
Yeah.
God damn it. That the New York media is easily entertained in that sense. Anyways, the Jaguars.
Funny man fall down.
That's really funny. Just the idea of that. It's just like that's the only reason that they keep him on. It's the entertainment factor of his face. Anyways, the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are limping into the offseason, are taking on the Dolphins, who are still somehow alive. And the Dolphins need this win, obviously, just to keep their playoff hopes going. Do they get the win?
Joe Flacco will be the next starting quarterback of the Jacksonville Jaguars, but until then, the Dolphins are going to win this game.
That I don't know why that's been circulating, but I feel like that's been a take that's been very much like thrown out there. I'm like, I guess so.
Well, like, look at it. The Ravens are like, hey, Joe, you're great, but this kid's good. So we want to treat you well. So we're gonna send you to Jacksonville. I don't know if that's treating him well or not, but
yeah.
The like Cody Kessler is starting.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Like Joe Flacco will start next year.
Yeah, I feel like it should.
Really Jacksonville is the only place I could see him going that like really needs QB help. Like injuries aside.
Right.
Injuries aside.
I had a bold prediction in the week 1 where I said that Joe Flacco would put up numbers like Alex Smith from last year. That didn't happen. But the second part of that bold prediction, which I won't count as being right, but I did say that they would go to a team in Florida. And the Dolphins may look for a quarterback in the offseason. So they're still in the mix, and many people are connected to Joe Flacco to the Jaguars. So if that happens, I'll be like, all right. So I kind of saw that coming a bit. Not that Joe Flacco had not that great of a year, but
yeah,
we'll see. Next up, the Falcons go to Carolina to take on the Panthers, and the Panthers. First of all, I mean I would have actually put the Panthers, now that I think about it, as a disappointing team, but just for the fact that I'm disappointed in this team that they have not put Cam Newton on the bench, and I don't mean in the sense that he's a bad quarterback or anything that they need to get rid of, bench him, but he's been hurt, and he's been playing hurt for a while now. And the fact of the matter is that they when they lost that game against the Steelers and then have been losing game after game after game, you would think at some point the Panthers would say, hey, maybe the guy is not throwing as well as he should be because he's hurt. Maybe we should not have him play in these games. And they still keep on putting him out there, I guess, because the playoffs and they feel like they can make it. But like,
they're still technically live. They definitely could have, like, if they had won the past couple weeks,
Yeah, it could have happened, but like
I'm so upset about the Panthers right now.
yeah, but like I don't understand. Like even if you are alive for the playoff for the playoff hopes, right? How
Yeah,
bad is your backup quarterback where you can't like let Cam Newton rest for a few games?
yeah,
That and then maybe he'll come back in and like when he's healthier and then win some games for you guys. He has you look at the throws that he's making. He's underthrowing throws ridiculously. He's having a really rough time with the shoulder. So I don't know. I don't get it. But what do you think is going to happen in this game?
I honestly still think the Panthers are going to win. They have disappointed everyone. Last night, not really counting because it was against the Saints.
Mm-hmm.
But dude, Christian McCaffrey threw a touchdown and Cam Newton didn't. Like, what the fuck is going on? Christian McCaffrey is currently the second best player on the Panthers, only behind Luke Kuechly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm still just gonna choose the Panthers because of the woes of the Falcons.
Yeah, I'm getting the sense that and this could end up being wrong by the end of the week, that the Panthers may end up benching Cam Newton in this week, which I think would make sense. I understand that the playoff hopes are still alive, but at this point it would take there's a lot that needs to go their way. I just think that you need to rest Cam now. You need to let him get better, despite probably his wishes to play. If that happens, and even if it doesn't, I'm gonna go with the Falcons in this one, and just because, and this is a tough pick for me to make because I'm like it's on the road. It's not when the Falcons are like that solid, and they're not a solid team overall.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just maybe thinking that their win against the Cardinals maybe was a spark of something fun down the stretch where they'll wreak some havoc and beat some teams, Panthers and Bucks down the stretch, that they'll get in good position to be like 7-9, not bad, not terrible, not great for the expectations going in the year, but 7-9 is average,
Mm-hmm.
So I'll go with them. Next up, the Cincinnati Bengals with Hugh Jackson returns to Cleveland to take on the Browns, who have a much better record with him than without him, or without him than with him, rather.
They've won more games without him than with him
in his entire tenure.
In his entire 2 and some odd tenure.
Yeah, and now the Browns.
The Browns are a good team.
Yeah,
and they're going to beat the Bengals, who are no longer playoff contention. Jeff Driscoll is, he won against the Raiders, but the Bengals just aren't doing anything.
Would you like to guarantee the Browns?
Are you going to?
No, I'm not. But do you want to?
I don't think I decided my guarantee.
It's a good one. It's a good one to pick.
It is.
It'd be the first time I think that you guarantee a Browns win.
I wasn't emotionally ready for that before this podcast started.
Obviously you can pick something different, but I just was saying I thought that could be something.
We're gonna do it.
Yes, let's go. I love it.
Please don't fuck me over, Cleveland.
You can blame me. I got you into it. I picked the Browns as well. It's not only that I think they're a great team at the moment, but I think that they're just a great team at home alone. Like they just, there's something about Cleveland right now that's becoming a home field advantage that it hasn't been for a while. And I think they take care of business against a Bengals team that has Jeff Driscoll at their quarterback, and yet they still have been in games, I guess, with him. I don't trust that going forward. Hugh Jackson, you'll eat their dust again. Next up, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers go to Dallas to take on the Cowboys. Cowboys need a win, and they are the NFC East champions. Bucks, something Jameis Winston quarterbacking the team for maybe the last few weeks. Something Dirk Cutter's on the hot seat. Something. What do you got?
Who fucking cares?
Yeah.
Who cares about the Bucks at this point?
Yeah, right.
They're back to their sucky ways like most Florida teams.
Yes.
I think the Cowboys win the division this week.
Yeah, I think so too. There's a very there. I think that they are going to clinch the 4 seed. Probably rest their players next week against the Giants, and then get their ass kicked by Seattle next week. Following week, we'll see. I'm gonna eat my words on that one. Vikings at Lions, and the Vikings coming off a nice solid victory over the Dolphins last week. Go up against the Lions team that they kind of try to play spoiler at times, but will that happen this time?
This is Matthew Stafford's worst season that he has ever had.
Yeah, it's a rough one.
And it's the Lions, which is saying something because the Lions are usually just a bad team.
Mm-hmm.
And I sympathize with their fans, but also not really. The funniest thing was that like a Win Lions fans were getting angry at the Lions Twitter for trying to promote Matthew Stafford for the Pro Bowl. Like the own fans were getting mad at the team, and I think that says enough. The Vikings are going to win this game.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Vikings. Look, just bear with me here. It's in Detroit, and the Lions tend to play these weirdly close games in Detroit, so I'm not gonna count them out as a potential chaos candidate. But I think that in the first week as offensive coordinator, Kevin Stefanowski, that's probably not the right pronunciation, but it seems like he got things fixed for this team, and Kirk Cousins played one of his better games of the year. I think that he takes care of business in this game, and that the Vikings get closer to a playoff berth and potentially a date in Chicago with the Bears.
Yeah.
They may have to play them twice in 2 weeks.
Correct.
Back to back. Next up, the Bills are going to New England, taking on the Patriots. I wanted to say it weirdly, but then I just slipped over my own tongue.
The Patriots.
The pants. The Patriots. The pants. The Bills are taking on the pants.
The Bills will take on the pants.
Actually the Bills, their field is actually a hat brand, so it's the hats versus the pants.
Yeah.
Anyways, what do you have in this game?
Yeah, like, so I've been actually going with the Bills a lot recently.
Yes.
Because Josh Allen might actually be good. I'm just kidding, he's good.
Josh Allen's not bad.
No, he's good. He's doing well.
Yeah.
And usually I would just I if it was against any other team,
mm-hmm.
I might have gone Bills, but I can't. So I have to go Patriots.
Yeah, we're at the point, we're at peak. No one trusts the Patriots right now until they all of a sudden start winning games in January. You're like, oh wait, they're back again. But I think this is the start of a potential beginning of a win streak for the Patriots. We'll see how long that carries into January, but they'll win. They'll clinch the division finally. It took a while. I had a bold prediction on you, Patriots. They were gonna clinch way sooner, but the fucking Dolphins ruined it. Anyways, and you ruined it too. Your back-to-back losses, Jesus. Anyways,
are you complaining that the Patriots lost back-to-back?
No, I'm not. I'm just trying to start a fight, regardless. No, I'm thrilled that they're losing, and I'm hoping that carries over into January. But we'll see. Again, it's the Patriots. I think they take care of this game though. So Patriots. There you go. Next up, the Packers go to New York to take on the Jets. Aaron Rodgers versus Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold's had a few strong games lately, and
yes,
they're going against a Packers team that their defense has not been what it has been, or what could have been, especially with their defensive line all basically on the IR at this point. But it is Aaron Rodgers, and it's against a New York team that overall has not done a good job. What do you got in this game?
This is mostly about this pick in particular is mostly about the fact that I need to like kind of play it safe with my picks, and I know we've been choosing pretty much the same shit.
Yeah.
This entire podcast so far.
Yeah.
So I can't be out of the box as much as I want the Packers to get upset and lose to the Jets. I can't consciously make that conscious choice.
Fair enough.
So I'm gonna pick the Packers.
Yeah, I gotta go Pack as well. I'm not gonna get on board the Jets train, but it'll be fun. I think it'll be a sneaky, interesting game. It's with an interim coach and a coach that's just on the cusp of being fired, battling it out. It'll be interesting. So I'll go with that. Next up, the Texans are gonna go to Philadelphia.
Philly.
They're going to Philly to take on the Eagles. Eagles coming off a nice upset win, and the Texans kind of squeaked out a victory against the Jets, but nonetheless, they are on the track to get a bye. What do you got in this game, Googles?
A victory is a victory, and the Texans are going to keep on rolling against the Eagles. Let's go.
Yeah. The Texans, they're in prime shape right now to win out and get the bye. But Philly's gonna ruin the party. Team Chaos Eagles, let's go!
Nick Foles.
The only reason I did this was because it's on the road, and the Texans have been weirdly inconsistent the last few games for the last few weeks. You know, lost to the Colts. You know, and then the Jets, it was way too close of a game. And there's something about the Nick Foles-led Eagles with Doug Peterson with these game plans and just Nick Foles playing the way he has been. I think they take care of business. I'm going to go Team Chaos on that one. So we'll see how that goes.
The Texans 2 years ago were one of my least favorite teams. Now the Texans are one of my favorite teams.
Well, I mean, I think that, and there is one player that really stands out. I mean, to me, that made me like them so much, which was Deshaun Watson. But I also like J.J. Watt a lot.
Yeah, I like J.J. Watt. I like Hopkins.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot. How could I forget about Hopkins? That's great. Yeah. There's a lot of likable players. And I like Bill O'Brien. He had a fun Hard Knocks season where you got a look at his personality. He seems like a ball buster, and he's fun. I like him as a coach a lot. I think that with all the weird quarterback decisions like now past him, he's shown that he's, I think, among the best coaches in the league. In my opinion, I like him a lot. So, but in this situation though, I'm gonna go Philly, the Doug Peterson Super Bowl winning coach in this one. Next up, the Rams go to the where do they go to? Oh yeah, Cardinals. Forgot about that. Arizona. They're going to Arizona, potentially one of the best teams in the league, facing one of the worst teams in the league. Do we need to spend time on this?
Into the desert.
Yeah.
Battered and bruised from their losses to a bear and a bird. Who's facing a bird. Bird that is not native to the desert, yet their team resides there regardless. It's a documentary now, Chris. Rams are vegetarians, but you know what they're gonna do?
They're gonna break their streak and eat bird.
Eat bird. Yeah, I think this is the game where the get back. Still not confirmed for a first round bye. If the Bears win out, and Rams lose one game, Bears get a first round bye.
Yeah, it would take it would be the Rams would make an appearance on Team Chaos of the Week, either of if they lose to the Cardinals or the Niners at this point.
Right.
I don't think it happens this week. I'm going with the Rams. It could happen next week. It could, because the Niners, they've been frisky. Last two games, they beat the Broncos, beat the Seahawks on a 2-game winning streak, surprisingly.
Mhm.
Nick Mullins 3-3.
Let's stop it. Let's stop it too, please.
Anyways, yeah, Rams win. Oh yeah, that's true because the Niners are hosting the Chicago Bears and they take on Nick Mullen. Do the Bears take care of business?
Good segue. I think that the Bears are going to take care of business here. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to? Since we didn't talk about it earlier, I wanted to give you your chance. The Rams officially in the playoffs, and not only that, but they're NFC North champions. How does
The
that make you
Bears
feel?
are the NFC North champions for the first time since 2010 in their hopes and dreams by defeating the Bears in the NFC Championship. Um, since that point, we have gone through the rest of Jay Cutler as an institution.
The word again.
Yep. The two terrible head coaches in Mark Trestman and John Fox.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Pitt, but then, when all seemed lost, we get the night of April 28th or so, 2017 rolls around. The Bears have traded up to draft quarterback, to the number 2 draft pick to draft quarterback Mitchell Trubisky.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone was like, "What the fuck? Why the fuck did we do that? This was a terrible decision."
You got
God
Mike
damn.
Glennon though, man. Mike Glennon.
But we had Mike Glennon. And then the season started, and then Mike Glennon sucked ass, except against AFC North teams.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were like, "Fuck it, put Trubisky in." And Trubisky wasn't good like all year, again, except against AFC North teams.
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
I love these details.
yeah. But throughout last year, we were like, "Oh shit, we have a good defense." And Vic Fangio was like, "Hey, make me the head coach." And then Bears were like, "Nah." And then the Packers were like, "Hey, come be the defensive coordinator for us." And then Vic Fangio was like, "Nah."
That's right. I forgot about that. Holy shit.
Yeah. And then we started the year almost beat the Packers week 1.
Yeah.
And then we beat the Seahawks week 2, and I was like, "Okay, we're getting somewhere." And now we're 10-4. Mm-hmm. And all of our losses have been within one score, with 3 of the losses being within a field goal.
Yeah.
And we won the division. And Mitch Trubisky was just named the fucking Pro Bowl alternate in his second year.
Yeah.
For the NFC. And the Bears are a good team. And no one believed me. And I didn't even believe that the Bears are going to be this good this year. But yeah. I'm so happy I was wrong.
Yeah, that was a shocker.
Beat the 49ers. Let's do this.
I love that soliloquy, by the way. And you think about it, I completely forgot about the Vic Fangio thing. And another thing I forgot about, Kyle Fuller, he was the transition tag holder, I think, or he was.
Yes. Yeah. The Packers also tried to pick up.
Yeah, and the Packers had him signed on a tag, and he could have been a Packer, and then the Bears were like, "Nah, bitch," and then signed him back, and so they stole Vic Fangio and Kyle Fuller. Those were the two big Bears victories. And the Packers got revenge in Week 1, and then the Bears were like, "Nah, bitch," and then ended the Packers' playoff hopes on Sunday.
Another fun fact about Kyle Fuller. He was drafted the pick before HaHa Clindex.
Ah, that's right.
And HaHa Clindex was immediately so much better than Kyle Fuller was.
Right.
Like, immediately. And everyone was kind of, like, upset with Kyle Fuller. Now Kyle Fuller is so much better than HaHa Clindex.
Yeah, by a mile. Yeah.
Yeah. So that makes me happy, too. Bear down.
Yeah, awesome. It was fun being on this journey, and I cannot wait to see what havoc the Bears have in store for January. Next up, another big game of the week: Steelers at Saints. The Steelers just got their victory for over the Patriots. So they're riding high, but they're now going to be running into a rough situation. Saints haven't been home since Thanksgiving, and they're going to be glad to be home. And their offense has been struggling the last 3 weeks, all on the road. But do they find their offense again and get the victory in this one? Go Cubs!
This is the most important game of this week.
I would say so.
Yeah, except maybe Chargers Ravens, but I'm gonna go with this one.
Yeah.
Because it decides things for two companies.
Yeah.
I have to go with the Saints at home.
Yeah.
Their offense struggled a bit against the Panthers last week, but I think having this home field and will help the Saints get back on track for what they need to do.
Yeah. I'm also going Saints because I just think that they're a better team right now, and especially at home, I think that's gonna be a huge advantage. And I feel so good about this that I'm guaranteeing it.
Okay.
I think you and I are gonna play it differently. I think my strategy is gonna be absolutely trash. But I want to take risks down the line, and I think the guarantee of the most important game of the week is gonna be tough. But I have a lot of confidence in New Orleans. I think that they'll take care of business. Just because Steelers got the win over this Patriots. That's big. But they didn't win in a convincing fashion, and the Saints I think are a far better team at this point than the Patriots are. So I think the Saints take care of business. Next up, the Sunday Night Football game. Whew, I like this one. It's Chiefs at Seahawks.
Very good. It's going to be a much better game than I initially thought it was going to be at the start of the year.
Yeah, Chiefs are now they are trying to get the first round bye at the moment, trying to get
and
that
potentially number 1 seed.
Yeah, and potentially number 1 seed, and of course to get the AFC West title, which is the most in order to get the bye or the number 1 seed, you need to do that. So they're going to be rooting hard for the Ravens on Saturday, and then they'll hope to beat the Seahawks in their building. But CenturyLink Field, we know it's a kryptonite for a lot of teams.
It is.
Do the Seahawks pull the upset, or do the Chiefs take care of business?
Chiefs played really well against one of their like biggest rivals.
Yeah.
The Seahawks did not.
Mm-hmm.
Both of these teams lost, and they both need to bounce back in a meaningful way.
Mm-hmm.
For some fucking reason.
Another big risk for another big game.
This is a huge risk for me. But I'm going to Team Chaos and say the Seahawks win this game.
There you go. I love it. I love it.
Against the Chiefs 2 weeks in a row. What's wrong with
it? Well, you know what? When it works, don't. When it's working, you don't want to fix it even more, or whatever the fuck the expression is. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. There you go. That's it.
But no, like I actually think that the Seahawks can bounce back.
Mm-hmm.
They are the Chiefs defense, even with Eric Berry returning, is still not a super great defense.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah,
and that 12th man is powerful.
Yeah, it is.
So there is a chance, and if I get this right, Jesus, I am.
Well, let me tell you what's at stake here with the Team Chaos right now, because you, my friend, you're just a win away from a winning Team Chaos record. Okay.
Shit.
You're at 8-7. Okay, so you just need one Team Chaos in the next 2 weeks. So you're hoping that the Seahawks can clinch that victory for you.
Yeah.
I'm at 7-8 for the Team Chaos. I'm only a game behind you, but still, almost be at a winning record though. I can't get a winning record. The fact that you could get a winning record is excellent. Oh no, wait, I can get. I can't get a winning record. Never mind.
Dumbass? I'm kidding.
No. Well, you know what I'm thinking, because I'm looking at the records and I'm thinking 16 games. 8. Yeah, but
we run for 17 weeks.
Yeah, so I could get to 9-8, I guess, but you could get to 10-7. I mean, come on, that would be excellent for you. So
that's gonna be hard.
It's gonna be tough, but I like the risk that you're pulling for this first team chaos, and I think it's possible. I think it's very likely. Not like I keep on using likely in the wrong sense. It's possible, and I think I very much think that it could happen. I'm gonna go with the Chiefs again, and I went with the Chiefs last time, and it did not do well either. And we'll see if it works this time. So I'll go Chiefs. Next up, in the last game. Okay, so
mediocre Monday.
Yeah, well, so I hope you all enjoyed the last meaningful Monday night football game, because we have this shit this week on Christmas Eve. On Christmas Eve, you're putting the Raiders on TV. How could you? It's ruining the holidays.
That's offensive.
But you know what though? I don't think this is the worst assignment for the
red team isn't facing the green team, Chris. It's a war on Christmas.
It's true. I don't think it's the worst game for ESPN to get, because this is potentially the last game in Oakland for a very, very long time. Because there's a very good chance with Oakland suing the crap out of the Raiders that they are going to have to play somewhere else next year. No one knows where they're going to play. They could get lucky and get to stay in Oakland one more year, but I doubt it. Again, lawsuits are a thing.
But it's still going to be called the Oakland Raiders if they're not.
That's going to be strange.
Yeah, because the rebrand probably wouldn't have happened yet before Las Vegas.
Yeah, that would be a little strange for them to be the Oakland Raiders and be playing in like San Antonio or something, or San Diego. But regardless, what do you have in this game? Who you got? Will the Raiders win in their last game in Oakland?
I really just don't want to talk about the Raiders much right now.
Fair enough.
You know, John Gruden was like, you know what? We don't need Khalil Mack. We don't need Amari Cooper. Fucking Nathan Peterman though.
Yeah, they're working him out next week.
They're working him out. Why? I don't know. I don't care.
Yeah.
Raiders suck. Go Broncos.
Yeah. I'm gonna go Broncos as well. I think that the Raiders may have some really like some feelings in this game that will maybe make them play extra hard. Copyright symbol. But I don't see it happening in this one. Broncos take care of business. So that is your 16 game slate. We disagree on 3 games, so someone's gonna take the lead, the record lead, going in to this.
What was the third game? Our team chaoses.
It was our team chaoses, and we disagreed on Falcons Panthers as well.
Okay.
We'll see how that all unfolds down the stretch. A big week for us in this matchup. I'm looking forward to it. Best of luck to you, Good Coops.
You as well. In place of the usual fantasy advice that I give.
Yes.
I want to talk about the Pro Bowl.
Yes. Do you have the roster in front of you?
I do.
All right. Lay it on me.
Who do you want to do? You want to hear positions by positions or by conference?
Let's break it down by position. Let's go with that.
I will start with quarterbacks for the NFC, and I don't know if these are in a particular order. My guess is first one I mentioned is the number 1 going to number whatever.
Okay.
Drew Brees, Jared Goff, and Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
For the AFC, Pat Mahomes, Phillip Rivers, Tom Brady.
I would agree with that. I think that's a good slate.
I feel like Brady just gets the votes because he's Brady.
Yeah, but
I
he's
can't think of another AFC quarterback off the top, like immediately, that I would Pro Bowl.
Oh wait, can you list them again? It's Patrick Mahomes,
Phillip Rivers, and Tom Brady.
I would have put Luck in.
Yeah,
I would have put Luck in, but that's okay. I think
I do not know who the alternates are, save a couple.
Yeah. We'll see, but I agree. I think I don't think that you could have had. Wait, Dak Prescott was one of the Pro Bowl quarterbacks?
No.
Okay, I thought you said that earlier.
Jared Goff, Aaron Rodgers.
Okay. I was like, for some reason, Dak Prescott came into mind. I'm like, shit.
But I do want to point out Mitch Trubisky, alternate.
Yes.
Which is incredible.
Pretty neat. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Right. What's next?
Running backs. This is running backs, and then the last one is the fullback.
Yes.
So for the NFC, we have Todd Gurley,
Mm-hmm.
Saquon Barkley,
Okay.
Ezekiel Elliott, and Kyle Zuzic from the 49ers.
Kyle, yeah, I forget how to pronounce his last name,
Fucking
but yes,
bullshit.
he has had a few Pro Bowl seasons, so
Yes.
not surprising.
And then on the AFC, we have James Conner, Melvin Gordon, Philip Lindsay, and Anthony Sherman as the fullback.
Yeah, I mean James Conner, I was hoping would make it in. And Philip Lindsay's perfect. I think the if you had to match the two rookie running backs against each other from either conference, I like that. It's Philip Lindsay and Saquon Barkley there.
Totally.
I don't think I can think of another running back as it stands right now.
Christian McCaffrey.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And Alvin Kamara. Both of those I think are two potentially big misses, but I also don't know if like they would beef in over Gurley or Saquon or Elliott. Maybe Saquon. But Saquon's been good.
He's been good. That might have came down to the voting. I would have even put. Yeah, I mean, I like. I like Elliott as a player. I think that I would have probably preferred to see McCaffrey in there over Elliott.
Yeah,
I think
McCaffrey's gonna be really good in the future.
Yeah, no, and I mean, all of this is arbitrary because so many players go down with quote unquote injuries to avoid playing the Pro Bowl. Yeah. So you'll probably see a lot more alternates. We'll probably get the right players in there.
I'm gonna move through these a little quickly.
Yes.
Okay, 4 wide receivers. NFC, we have Devontae Adams, Adam Thielen, Michael Thomas, and Julio Jones.
Okay.
For the AFC, we have Antonio Brown, Keenan Allen, DeAndre Hopkins, and Tyreek Hill.
That is bullshit that Antonio Brown's in there and not Juju Smith-Schuster.
Oh, yeah. Smith-Schuster's had a better season, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. But Antonio Brown.
He's not been that great this year. He's been good. He's been very good when it counts, but he's not been as good as past seasons, and he's been better. Juju Smith-Schuster has been better.
Yeah. Tight ends, NFC, George Kittle and Zach Ertz.
Mm-hmm.
AFC, Travis Kelce and Eric Ebron.
Yeah, I don't see a problem.
Good for Ebron, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. Comeback player in that. Not a comeback player of the year, but certainly a comeback from a rough start to his career.
Yeah. All right. Moving over to defense. Actually, if I can find the offensive line. Offensive tackles. Taron Armstead, Tyron Smith, and Trent Williams for the NFC.
Mm-hmm.
Eric Fisher, Taylor Lewan, and Alejandro Villanueva for AFC.
Alejandro Villanueva.
Yes. Centers.
Mm-hmm.
For NFC, Alex Mack and Max Unger.
Yep.
And then AFC, Mike Pouncey and Marquise Pouncey.
Look at that. The brothers.
Brothers, both with the same number as well.
There you
go. Guard is offense, right? Yeah.
Yes.
NFC, Brandon Brooks, Zach Martin, and Trey Turner for NFC, and then AFC, David DeCastro, Quentin Nelson, and Marshall Yanda.
Yeah, I don't know as much about the offensive line, so I cannot really weigh in on this one, but I that sounds like a good group. I recognize a lot of big names there, so.
All right, defense. Cornerbacks for the NFC, Darius Slay, Byron Jones, Patrick Peterson, and Kyle Fuller.
There you go.
They're number 1. AFC, Jalen Ramsey, Denzel Ward, Stephon Gilmore, and Xavier Howard.
Yeah, I think that's all fair. Look at Denzel Ward making the leap into Pro Bowl.
Safeties, Eddie Jackson, fair number 2.
There you go.
Harrison Smith and Landon Collins.
Mm-hmm.
For the NFC, and then for the AFC, Derwin James, Eric Weddle, and Jamal Adams.
There you go. Okay.
There you go. Defensive ends.
I'm surprised the Giants and Jets both got team players in there in the Pro Bowl.
Defensive ends. For the NFC, Cameron Jordan, DeMarcus Lawrence, and Danielle Hunter.
Okay.
And then for the AFC, J.J. Watt, Myles Garrett, and Melvin Ingram.
I like it. I like it.
Me too. Outside linebackers, Khalil Mack, their number 3. Ryan Kerrigan, Anthony Barr. And then for the AFC, Von Miller, Jadeveon Clowney, and D Ford.
D Ford had an excellent season with the Chiefs, as much as that defense has not been a highlight for them.
Mm-hmm. For inside linebackers, for the NFC, Luke Kuechly and Bobby Wagner.
I was just about to say, I feel like I've been missing both of those guys.
Yeah. And then AFC, CJ Mosley and Benedrick McKinney.
Yes, that's Texans. Yeah. They have an excellent linebacking group.
Oh, for sure. Defensive linemen. For the NFC, Aaron Donald, Fletcher Cox, and Akeem Hicks, bear number 4.
There you go.
AFC, Geno Atkins, Jarrell Casey, and Cameron Hayward.
Jarrell Casey's one of the underrated great players in this league. I love him.
Yeah. And then our special teams. On the NFC, we have Michael Dixon as the punter, Aldrich Rosas as the place kicker, Tariq Cohen as the return specialist, number 5.
Wait. Okay, no, continue.
And Corey Littleton as a special team.
Okay, continue to the AFC.
AFC, Brent Kern as the punter, Jason Myers as the place kicker.
Both New York teams are the kicker Pro Bowlers.
Yes.
Yes.
Andre Roberts, too.
I actually just stood up. I'm so excited.
And Adrian Phillips, special teamer.
There you go. Kickers. Kickers
New York
in
kickers.
New York. Country. Jungles where things are made of. Okay, anyways, so that's the only thing I could get any joy of New York football at this point. Anyways.
Look, kickers, when you have bad football teams, if you have a good kicker, it's a good rallying point.
Yeah.
Illinois football, that's been my year.
That's true. I forgot. Good year. Yeah, I mean, we could probably dissect that even further, but it's hard to, when they initially come out, you're gonna have to start thinking of players on the spot. But they literally came out right as we went live, so it's hard for us to really think of any analysis. But yeah, and we'll see how many replacement alternatives get put in instead. Right.
Yeah. There obviously are all they have alternates already kind of figured out.
Yeah.
For the most part, I didn't read them, but.
Yeah, we'll see. I think that we'll get everything.
It seems like a good roster. I don't think anyone doesn't deserve to be there.
Yeah, well, yeah. Again, I'm sure I'm gonna look at all the think pieces later, and we'll come back with maybe better analysis next week, maybe. Yeah. But we'll see. Again, it's the Pro Bowl.
Save that for the week of the Pro Bowl podcast.
You know what? That's true. Actually, that's a good idea. We'll highlight the players that did not make it in. Yeah, because it's good to get the spotlight on them. But anyways, guys, thank you all so much for another fun week of listening to us, and we look forward to week 16 and getting a whole bunch of clinching scenarios out of the way. And next week is the big regular season finale podcast. Oh boy, it's here, baby. Let's go.
I'm so excited.
We made it, man. We've made it. Or at least we're very, very, very close. So join us next week for that. Thank you all again. Be good to one another. Be kind to one another. And we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.